Like my last review, this one's going to be a little bit different, where I just talk about the camera and show you pictures that I've taken with it. So if you like this format better, just hit that like button, subscribe, or leave a comment down below if you want to join the conversation. And share your thoughts around this camera, or one like it, or something that's the better option. And that's how we're going to do this. You get your atmosphere spray, you get your atmosphere spray. Have you bought your atmosphere spray? Damn, I must be getting emotional because atmosphere spray. What's up, I'm Ransom Vlogs, aka the Super Mediocre, and today we're going to take a look at the Leica M240. So, as always, in the description down below, there is a Google Drive folder. You can request access to that folder. In that folder are DNG files you can then download and play around with in post, and really gain a better understanding on if this is a type of camera that will help you output the images you're ultimately looking to create. And that's there for you if you want to request access. Also, on that note, do not upload any of those images to a royalty-free website, you little fucker. I saw what you did there. So that's the only real big, don't do that shit. Beyond that, you know, use your discretion, have some fun with it. These are not royalty-free images. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, without further ado, let's jump right into talking about the Leica M240, which is probably the camera that I've used the most over the last decade. So that goes without saying. Is it my favorite camera? Probably. Alright, so my introduction to Leica was through the Leica M240. Up until the Leica M240, I was not familiar with the brand. I did not know what a rangefinder was. But I had done about 18 months worth of research because I knew what I wanted to shoot, and I didn't necessarily know how I liked to shoot at that point, but I knew I wanted a camera specifically to shoot street photography. And then I found a Leica, and I was blown away by how expensive they were. It absolutely fucked me up. But yeah, in terms of a camera that I've used more than any other camera that I have or owned, presently or in the past, the Leica M240 hands down is it for me. It is my everyday go-to that I throw over my shoulder before I leave the house. It is what I am most comfortable shooting with out of any other camera that I own, out of any other camera that I've used. And that's just because I've used it so much. In terms of the drawbacks, it's a little bit heavy. It's not overly cumbersome with the size, but I could see some people not enjoying the weight of the camera. It's got some characteristic flaws, such as the buffer. That buffer can be a pain in the tuchus. Yeah, when you burst shoot, you can do that 3 or 4 times. That buffer's gonna kick in. Additionally, if you're shooting too fast, sometimes the camera freezes. You gotta pop out that battery, pop it right back in, and you're good to go. It doesn't happen too frequently, but it does happen enough where you'll be like, yeah, that shit's kind of annoying. That is not to say the camera freezes frequently though. And here's one of the major drawbacks with a Leica M240 or any type of rangefinder camera. Eventually it's gonna need to get serviced. That service fee on the low is probably going to be $500 to $700, or if you're unlucky like me and you've used the camera so much that the internal components of the camera have started to wear down, that can get up to about $2,000. That is a lot of money. That is more money than a lot of cameras cost to begin with. That's what it cost me to get the first one serviced. This is the first one. Because it was my first rangefinder, I am sentimental to it. So yeah, I paid it. Yeah. Ooh, listen to that noise. I love it. Little ASMR action. And it is a camera that takes some getting used to, especially with those little quirks that kind of creep up on you. Leica just happens to be this niche camera company that puts out these amazing little devices. And if you strip away the overwhelming majority of features you don't necessarily use, and you bring it back to essentially the basics, obviously the basics change over time with innovation for everybody. Like what I view as the basics for my generation are not going to be what Gen Z or Gen Alpha views as the basics for their generation, is not what the boomers and whoever's beyond the boomers viewed as their generation for what the basics of taking a photograph are. But I always think the basics should come down to how a 35mm film camera operates. And those are the basics to me. Those will always be the basics to me. So when you can transcend that into a digital body, and you're functioning that camera in the same way you would function a 35mm film camera, for the most part, that is what is appealing to me. That is what I'm drawn to, and that is why I absolutely love this camera. It has not steered me dirty. It has not done me wrong. It has not pointed me in a bad direction. Just kidding. It absolutely has done all of that at different points in time. But generally speaking, it's been a phenomenal camera that I've carried with myself every day. It's ultimately up for you to decide, but if you're looking for I want to all around, this camera excels at everything, which no camera exists like that. Sony and Nikon do a really nice job there. But generally speaking, if you want the basic features, if you want to feel super connected to your photography, if you want something that's easy to pick up, subtle and discreet, where you can just get out there and start taking photos, the Leica M240 is not going to steer you wrong. Yeah, so it is a camera you'll be able to kind of weave in and out of crowds. It's small enough where people don't know if you're pointing it at them, so they're not going to shy away. To capture people in their natural element, you'll be able to do that. It's kind of the middle ground of price points if you buy it on the secondhand market. It's probably going to be more expensive than an M8 or an M9, but less expensive than any of the M10s or M11s. I think it's like the perfect middle ground of the M lineup, where it's not overly stacked with features and like these multiple megapixel options that you can get with the M11. They included a video feature on this camera. I don't know why. Nobody has ever shot a video with the Leica M240 and went on YouTube to brag about it. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Nobody's like, look at this video I shot with my Leica M240. Why? Why'd you do that? It's just not going to be the best experience. You'll get a ton of camera wobble. Mind you, it is a full frame sensor. You can pair it with Leica glass. It'll still look good. But just buy a designated cinema camera, or buy a camera like the Leica SL2S, which is going to be stacked with so many more video features than a Leica M240. Why did you put the fucking video feature on this? I don't get it. But whatever, it's not a big deal. I know this is going to sound weird, but shooting with a camera and shooting so it's auto ISO, so the aperture is auto as well, I have trouble nailing shots because I don't understand what the camera's doing, and therefore I have no idea if I'm doing what I'm supposed to correctly. Whereas if I have a camera that's fully manual, I know exactly what to change to fix my shot should something be off. And I know that might sound stupid because it's like, oh, well, you don't know how to shoot auto, you just put it in auto. It's like, I don't get it. But that's the beauty of a camera like this. They give you these base functionality features that are found within all cameras, but they really excel within those manual features of the camera. So if you enjoy shooting manually and you really want to be making the decisions for the camera and not have the camera making the decisions for you, you'll feel more connected with your photography. You'll take some incredible shots. It might take some getting used to, but you'll have this device that will really make you think about photography in a different way. And by doing that, you'll then feel more connected with what you're ultimately creating. It's right for me. I don't know if that's right for you, but I get hyped as on it. So, you know, get out there, go shoot. I don't really know if there's anything else. Leica M240. I mean, let's go 8 for practicality and real world usage, just because there's those questionable things around certain events, and you got this buffer that might kick in, and your camera might freeze, and you got to pop the battery out. That shit's kind of annoying. So we'll deduct 2 points for that. In terms of my usage, in terms of how much I like it and how much I bring it out into the real world, 10 out of 10. I use this thing every day. We'll average that out to a 9 out of 10 between real world applications for everybody and my own personal use. So an 8 and a 10, we got a 9. That's a killer score for a camera. I think it's currently the best option for the price point in terms of the Leica M systems that are available on the market. But they're all going to have slightly different looks. They're all going to have slightly different features. You got to figure out what's right for you. This isn't a tech review. I'm happy to answer all the technical questions you might have about this camera or comparing it to a different camera. If those tech specs actually really matter, or if it's just paper marketing bullshit to try to get you to buy a device. At the end of the day, the only thing that matters is what can you output with this camera and lens combination, and how much versatility does it give you in your editing software that you use to edit the photos, should you choose to edit photos. Not saying you have to. That's how I figure out what cameras I want to buy. I look at what other people are creating with the camera and the camera lens combination, and then I decide on if that camera is ultimately right for me. And if it is, I buy it most of the time. There's some Hasselblads out there I love, but a little pricey. Would you like a new car this year? Or would you like a Hasselblad? Well, at the current rate the car market's going, that Hasselblad's looking better and better every day. Hey! So anyways, that's just a quick look at the Leica M240. I hope you enjoyed the images that I showed you. The link in the description is there that you can request access to download some DNG files and play around with them in post. If you make anything really cool or you're proud of an edit, feel free to post it on Instagram. Just make sure to tag me so I can see it. And if you want feedback, I'll give it. If not, no worries. But yeah, just don't upload the photos to a royalty-free site, because I will DMCA them. Yeah, so I know some people that run those sites, so they'll call me. And I'll call you. Just kidding. Yeah, if you have any questions about this camera, feel free to ask me in the comments, and I'll do my best to get back to you or answer the question to the best of my ability. If you have any thoughts of your own regarding this camera, regarding any rangefinder or any lens or M line of camera, feel free to share your thoughts and opinions as well. These videos are really just meant to inform others and help them make an informed decision when it comes to buying the type of equipment that is ultimately right for them. There's not what I recommend. There's not what you recommend. There's just, this is the equipment. This is how it performs for me. These are the photos I took with it. Hopefully you can take a look at these and it helps you decide on if this is the right thing or if you're ultimately looking for something else. But I like making these, so if you enjoy this new type of format for videos, give this video a like. Feel free to subscribe to this channel, or thank you for just stopping by. And yeah, new videos soon. Talk to you soon. Peace.
Smoking hella weed, looking at them palm trees. We smoking hella weed, looking at them palm trees. We smoking hella weed, looking at them palm trees. We smoking hella weed, palm trees, palm trees. Smoking hella weed, looking at them palm trees. We smoking hella weed, looking at them palm trees. We smoking hella weed, looking at them palm trees. We smoking hella weed, palm trees, palm trees. Take this back.